And ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the session I'm really looking for, just because it's the core of our track today. Are we ready for AI? And just as a very short wrap-up from our yesterday's AI track, Anke is saying, referring to Airbnb, it may take 3 years since we see agentic shopping. When we listen to our dedicated speakers from yesterday, it takes a few months, just because everything is available, instant payment is available, agentic shopping infrastructure is available. We just need the travel technology to be quick enough to solve final results and good results. And that's what we want to have a look on it. And we display both the non-bookable and the bookable content, just because we also learn both is heavily important in AI. And we start with the market leader in the non-bookable space. Please welcome Matthijs Pols, the CEO of Giata. Matthijs, thanks for being here.
Can you hear me? Yeah, very good.
Thank you very much, Dirk. Absolutely.
Hi, everyone. Where Dirk asked me to get on stage on Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m., this is probably a very challenging time slot, simply as you're competing with all the drinks outside. But you being here tells me that you are taking AI very serious, and honestly, I believe that is what the entire industry should do. There's a saying, AI is only as good as the underlying data, and I agree with that. However, in travel, data is not just data. Data equals expectations. And if expectations break, experience break, trips break. As an industry, we are responsible for the most valuable time of our customers, the summer vacations, their business travel. And we are responsible for the biggest investments they're making throughout the year. So we need to make sure bookings are accurate and they have the experience they expect from us, whether they book offline, online, or via agentic AI. My name is Matthijs. I spent the last 20 years building Booking.com and Get Your Guide, and I'm now the CEO of Giata. At Giata, we are building the foundational data layer for travel. Let's go back in time. For more than 10 years, we are making two promises to the industry. The promise of the connected trip, meaning you book your flight, your hotel, your rental car, your activity, your spa treatment, and the restaurant in one go, and in one piece moves. Your flight is delayed, immediately everything will be updated and you get a new itinerary. And we made the promise of personalization. Let's be honest. How much of that have we really accomplished? In my company, I often asked for the say-do ratio. How much of what you have said have you done? I personally can't call out one company that really delivered on both, not even on one. The key question is why? Is it really because we thought only AI can make it happen, but we are promising it already since 2012? Or is there another foundational challenge we are facing that we haven't solved yet, but we should? The data challenge. Let me give you a quick little story. Last summer, I got a call from a prospect, not a customer, but he wanted to become a customer. And he told me the following story. He was tasked to organize a wedding for a very wealthy Canadian family. The who's who of Canada has been invited, and they were looking for a very, very nice, beautiful venue, wedding venue on a lakeside resort. And they were looking for a boutique hotel, the bride and groom close by. They found one, a beautiful one. Booked everything. Day prior to the wedding, they arrived and figured out one thing. The distance between the wedding location and the hotel, the data said it's 15 kilometers. The reality was there was a mountain in between. And the street to go to the hotel was an 80-kilometer ride, car ride. Now imagine how that feels for the wedding couple. They had everything planned, makeup, photo shooting, welcoming guests, everything got screwed just because of one little data point. Now, what does it mean? Mathematically, you can say, well, the distance is accurate. It's 15 kilometers. Operationally, it's a nightmare, right? And for the wedding couple, it was probably the worst thing that potentially could happen for them. So the key question that we as an industry need to ask ourselves is, do we trust agents actually to act on our behalf? Do we trust to make an agent a booking for us in worth, let's say, 10,000 euro? It is very different whether you ask your agent to order your next pack of coffee beans for your coffee machine, the ones that you've ordered the last couple of months, and they arrive and you don't like it, you ship it back. With travel, it doesn't work that way. So for us as an industry, it means we need to build this foundational data layer that is accurate so that AI can really operate and act on top of that. We all know when it comes to accuracy and reliability, AI still tends to creating hallucinations. And that is what we are seeing in many different areas already. There are regions where AI invented attractions. A train ride that never existed. It was just there. And the only way to solve it is by eliminating the silos that exist everywhere in our industry. And now, when you look how the LLMs act and what they're announcing, the recent announcing we probably all have read is that there's a ChatGPT app store where you can make your app available. Accor was the company that did it. Booking was the company that did it. Expedia is the company that did it. But wait a minute, isn't it again silos? Is it connected? Is this what we are expecting as travelers? That I can search in an Accor app for, let's say, a Fairmont in Hamburg, where there's only one? This is not what I require. Now, humans and AI act very differently. We all know that. AI doesn't have context. AI require standardized, normalized data. This is what we are providing with Giata Multicodes. Giata Multicodes is a platform where we have given every hotel in the world a universal ID called the Giata ID. Why did we give all of them an ID? Very simple. Names you mess up. Like, why do we all have a social contribution number and not a name? Why do we have an IBAN number? Why there's an ISIN number? Why is there an ESPN number? Very simply, because you can use it as a solely identificator for a property. And this is what Giata has built. We have mapped all the hotel suppliers to the Giata ID so that you can identify in hotels throughout all databases that exist. And this ID is fundamental for AI to identify and find an hotel and then deliver the comparison that we all hope for to see when it comes to agentic AI and agents. The second really interesting challenge is the room type challenge. When you look into many suppliers that are offering hotels, all of them, whether it's legacy or marketing reasons because they don't want to be comparable, they call room types differently. Standard room, premium room, standard room balcony, superior room. Also, the hotel might only have 5 or 6 rooms. You end up for one hotel, when you look into the room types of 9 suppliers, with more than 130 different room type combinations. Now, how can AI make sense out of it? How can it compare it? It's impossible. We are solving that with room type mapping, where we map all these room types together and allow AI and businesses already nowadays to find the best rate on every room type for any supplier that exists. For hotels, there's another challenge. Hotels, in my view, have lost the ownership over the narrative long time ago. Now, with AI, there's a lot of concepts how businesses, distribution companies can access data. Image recognition is a one that is mentioned over and over, like, hey, we can take the images and then we can identify what's on the image, and when there's a coffee machine, then there's a coffee machine. Technically, it's possible, but is it desired? Do we really want to aggregate informations of a product of an hotel this way, or shouldn't hotels take the ownership and make sure that they build a structured database with all the information they're offering? Try to find out the size of a pool of an hotel. Very, very difficult nowadays. With AI, obviously, you can estimate, but AI is only good in fuzzy data and probabilities, and that might give you an answer eventually is this size, but not 100% sure. And I think with the pool, it's okay. When it is about where the hotel is located, it's different. And we are looking every day into data sets that are so weak, it is hard to believe. I give you one example. Last week, we got from one of our suppliers an hotel with metadata, and in the metadata, in the address, there was half of the address from this hotel chain, Barcello Hotels was in Spain. The other half of the address was in Barcello Hotel in South America. Just messed up. Now, when AI would act on this data set, they probably would send half of the customers to Spain and half of the customers to South America, and at least 50% wouldn't have a booking in this hotel because the booking was in the other country. So for hotels, it's extremely important to build their own narrative and own their narrative, as otherwise people will try to get it from somewhere, whether it's scraping, whether it is image recognition, and then you need to deal with the consequences of how you got sold. And we believe this is not the way how it should work. So we built Giata Drive. Giata Drive is the source of truth for hotels, which allows them in the most granular details to describe what they're offering, facts, amenities, room types, room images. There's everything in. We are distributing it to all their point of sales, the indirect channels, and we make the data available in multiple different formats, including JSON, which is even very relevant when it comes to WebMCP, for example, when you want to make your own website agent readable, that you plug this data behind it so that agentic AI can understand what a hotel is offering and not relying on screenshotting and then trying to figure out what is on the platform. So once this foundation is built and you have a very clean data set, then AI can really start with the magic. We acquired last summer a company which is called SmartSeer. What SmartSeer does, it's an AI decisioning platform. What does it do? It helps to profile visitors of your website and gives you in milliseconds an idea what they're looking for, how much are they willing to spend, how likely is it that they are churning, and in what context do they want to travel. At the same time, the platform profiles all the offerings. Not what an hotel, for example, says, which their target audience is, but what is seen in the data. Who is booking these hotels? We're creating kind of a traveler DNA and in hotel or inventory DNA. In addition, the customers of that platform can decide whether they want to show certain preferences. I give you two simple examples. When you see that someone is about to leave your website because they're very early in the decision process, they might want to look somewhere else, it doesn't make sense to put them an hotel in front of them or any other offer that they're going to leave anyway. But to show them a voucher might make sense. They go somewhere else, eventually they remember it, they come back. Or you show them the number of your call center or the chat to keep them engaged. When you have someone mid-funnel who stays on your platform, searches, but it's not decided yet, eventually you have a revenue stream through sponsored listings. Then the system automatically shows sponsored listings so that you make money through sponsorship. When someone is ready to book, then of course you bring the right products in front of them and you don't want to distract them, so showing here a voucher would be sacrifice of your margin. So this company kind of connects travelers and help our customers to better understand who their travelers are and then give the right context in the right moment to the traveler. So here's a hard reality now. When we talk about AI and LLMs, we very often talk about this moment of succeeding, this moment of winning, this moment when you use the sport terms of being on a podium and holding the trophy up. The way that leads up to winning is a hard part. This is constant training, preparation, and this is actually what we need to do as an industry to make our platforms, our companies AI ready, and that is the hard, boring data work, data cleaning. And only once this is done, then you can really leverage the opportunities of AI. What we believe, what is most important for the travel industry is one thing: better data to deliver better travel. Thank you very much.
Still boring work in a completely new match, isn't it? So we wrap it up later on, Matti.
Perfect.
So, but before we do so, we switch over to bookable content, to Sabre. Just invented itself as a new Sabre, as an AI native company. And here's one of the head of it. It's Bradley Johnson, the Vice President Product Management of Sabre. Brad, the stage is yours, and then we bring it together. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. All right. I wanted to just start and say thank you to Mattis. I think he covered very, very nicely one of the key foundational principles of AI, and that is data readiness. Not just in terms of accuracy, but also in terms of just readiness of these platforms. And so I'll just start by just saying we agree. And then I actually want to take a few moments and delve into other topics in this that are very important in this customer journey. And we'll skip past that. And we'll start with discovery. So in the realm of discovery and product discovery, I think most of us, if not all of us, do agree that there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to conversational commerce. That being said, one of the key risks that comes with this is if we apply old methodologies for how product is surfaced, there's a lot of risk of inflated costs. Costs both in terms of data processing, if we continue to do live shopping, but also costs in terms of process tags. So latency, because the expectation is in these systems that they're going to respond very, very quickly with highly relevant offers. So when it comes to our approach around discovery of product, we've been leaning in very, very heavily around the idea of normalized product catalog. So this is a mix of some static data, some highly relevant static data, but mixed with some fresh cache data to be able to bring back very quickly content and inexpensively. Now, with that being said, I do want to highlight that there are some emerging standards in this area too. There are retail commerce protocols that are being introduced, but they're very indexed towards retail, which there are notable gaps with travel. They're lacking the structured data that we need to be able to operationalize travel in these platforms. They're also missing some relevancy. And so the risk in that is that we may misrepresent product. We may also have stale product that's coming through in these commerce protocols. And so I'll just comment that in this area, beyond the opportunity for you to engage with Sabre around what we offer, I'd actually like to also call on other thought leaders in this space to partner with us and engage in improving commerce protocols to be more relevant in the travel space. So next up, from a retailing standpoint. So now that the product is discovered, how do we better match the travelers with highly relevant contextual offers? Well, in our user studies, we've actually found that travelers are very willing to share data if they can understand better the value that that gives them and also feel very safe with how that data is protected. So when it comes to retailing, one of the areas that we've been having engagements with our partners on is think differently in terms of the offers that you're surfacing in these spaces. Realize that just because this is a distributed platform, these may be platforms that you don't fully control, doesn't mean that you don't have an opportunity to match travelers with offers that are highly relevant and are going to entice them to engage with you in these platforms. So speaking of engagement, so I think we would all agree that the moment that this becomes very interesting is when inspiration turns into action, when somebody is enticed to actually make that purchase. And that's why it's very important, too, we believe, to keep the customer in the funnel. Have them engage in the tool of choice that they started in. This means that the experience is going to be different. Conversational commerce is going to drive different input and output, and we've been encouraging people to think about that very differently as well. And so at Sabre in particular, we've been thinking about how you flip the model. So it's moving away from a traditional online booking tool experience where you have a form or a filter that drives a request to an API and a response, heavy process tax that goes through this, and the customer churns. But instead flipping that model and starting to introduce agentic-friendly workflows. Those agentic-friendly workflows can help balance the areas of opportunity with automation with human in the loop. And that's a situation where you can start to reduce errors by interrogating the human when you have questions that you need to have answered. It gives you that very nice balance between those areas. And it also allows for us to introduce supplier value through those very selective points of interaction. All right, so checkout. So now this is where the money changes hands. We've highlighted in the past the risks that come with referral to external sites. And this is very prevalent in this space, where you go all the way through your process, you find the product that you're looking for, and it's linked out to an external site. Best case scenario, it's an inconsistent experience. Worst case scenario, you start all the way over again. And that's going to drive customer dissatisfaction with the process and leakage. And so when it comes to checkout, first and foremost, we believe, and we understand, this is very hard. It's very hard to bring back the highly relevant offers across multiple content sources, facilitate the whole reservation, secure payment, and so forth through the entire journey. But we believe that this is something that's important to keep inside of the channel and in the experience that the user expects. So starts with having secure payment providers that you trust. People that can process the payment securely, fraud detection capabilities, being able to help through the facilitation of reconciliation with the suppliers as well as reporting. This is a key pivotal part of this process. But in addition to that, one of the areas that we put a lot of energy behind is balancing deterministic workflows. A deterministic workflow is one that goes through the sequence of steps that are necessary to help facilitate this interaction with extensibility, because we know all of our partners have different needs. And so being able to configure to hit those needs as opposed to bespoke development. And that allows for you to keep them in channel all the way through the booking process. And then our favorite topic, servicing. This is one of those areas that drives a lot of cost without a lot of value. It is easily the biggest opportunity when it comes to agentic AI in terms of driving out cost out of the operation. So when it comes to servicing, first and foremost, I'll just bring this back full circle into data. If you don't have the structured data there to support customers, you're going to drive errors and you're going to drive dissatisfaction. So critically important that we've got strong data that's able to help facilitate servicing. We're putting a lot of energy around some of the basic use cases, being able to help customers through cancellations, through changes in those workflows where people can self-service their own bookings, drive satisfaction. But where we see a lot of opportunity in this space is when you start to moving away from reactive into proactive, starting to sense where disruptions can happen. This is not just helpful in terms of reducing overall cost, it's also very important for the traveler, because think about that. In the cases where you've been disrupted, if you had a simple nudge that said, there is a 80% chance that your flight is going to be disrupted, would you like to take action? So much better than you going through a process yourself and having to reaccommodate. All right, so before I advance, I'll just say this is not just theory. We believe very strongly, and we encourage all of you, lead, lean in, partner with people, find other leaders in this space, partner together, find the people who are very strong in these various areas, learn. You're going to get some things wrong. We're getting things wrong, and then adjust. Because this isn't some futuristic thing, the time is now. And I'd say one of the really exciting things in our journey with agentic AI is some of the partnerships. We just announced a partnership with Mindtrip and PayPal where we're putting a lot of this into action. I'll back out of the way so you can, oh.
What are the best dates to fly from New York to Alaska?
Your ideal window is late August to mid-September. Would you like me to look up specific flight options?
Yes. That was easy.
All right, that was very flashy, I know, but that's real. This is the product that we're launching. First and foremost, Mindtrip is using our shopping capabilities to be able to power their agentic experience. So everything you saw there in terms of the queries, they're using Sabre services. They are building an agentic experience. They are a market leader in terms of building out the travel journey. They're using us for the deterministic checkout, and then we have a payment partner with PayPal. So very, very exciting. And again, we're learning and we're adjusting along the way. And with that in mind, I would encourage you all to learn with us. We have tools and resources that are available. We're very, very open to partnership in this space. We're also very interested in education. We're promoting the Agentic U as a channel for where you can learn more about Sabre. You can also learn more about how AI and travel come together. And so with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. So impressive to see. Agentic shopping is real. So I think it's this was not a demo. It's available. Mindtrip, checkout via PayPal.
It will be available very soon.
Very soon. Very soon. We come to that soon.
Yes, very soon.
It's time for a wrap-up. Mattis, if you'd like to join us again, just because I think we have to sort it out a little bit. We saw a lot of things. Just have a seat, Brad.
Sure.
Yeah, I go in the middle. That's where I feel most confident. The good news is we're in the industries for decades also, so not that much change. Boring data work. It's all about data. It's about excellency. No news there. The new things is you entertain now not human beings. You entertain more and more AI agents. Agentic shopping is essential. So what's the difference now? You more and more have agents, agentic agents as your interface or as your backside? What's the difference?
Am I on?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Maybe we can mute Mattis, please.
Unmute, yeah. Thank you. Very good. Before I answer your question, I have one ask for you, Dirk.
Oh.
Yes, you introduced us with the term NBC. It stands for non-bookable content. In my view, that's the worst term that actually exists in travel, as we've invested in at Booking and at Get Your Guide millions to use content to drive conversion. So if you want to be an evangelist, call it conversion content and eliminate non-bookable content.
Okay, this was not a real answer, but still, as I think the old guys think about this.
I know.
Bookable, non-bookable, very.
I try to
change?
get, like in my company, this term is not allowed anymore.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
To
Do
your
you
question.
agree, guys? The other section agrees at least, so yeah. Let's learn, why not?
Yeah. So, when you look into the kind of adaptation curve in any industry, I think we're talking, and we obviously tech people, we're talking a lot about agentic AI and all the possibilities. When we look into where AI is currently applied, you see it primarily in the inspiration phase, right? So people get inspired, they build itineraries, but when it comes to putting your credit card into the game, people are still very hesitant. So I think due to a recent Skift study, only 2% would feel comfortable today to let agentic really purchase on your behalf. You still want to validate whether everything is accurate. So I think as an industry, we still need to make sure that we are serving all different of our customers, whether it's those that still prefer to go into an offline travel agent. They still exist. I think 15 years ago, we were sitting here and talking about travel agent won't exist anymore. Then we said tour operators won't exist anymore. Now tour operators growing. I think it's important to really make sure that you're really improving and working on the forefront of technology while not ignoring where your customers are today and what they're willing to do with your offering and with your platform.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a massive shift. It's going steady.
It's steady. Mm-hmm. I think it starts more in the inspirational phase, upper funnel. If we do a great job as an industry, we're going to see far more down, so lower funnel, more in the transactional space. But I think it really depends that we get it right and that people have the experience that they actually expect from agentic AI to have. Mm-hmm. It's a trust element in my view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll echo your comment that I think trust is actually the key thing, which is where, this is my new favorite AI phrase too, human in the loop. Human in the loop is really critical. And what that means is that you are selectively engaging people to help drive out a lot of the errors, as well as some of the distrust. And so one of the key learnings we've had, particularly as we've applied a lot of the, we'll say travel agent, to differentiate from agentic, travel agents type of tools, is where do you selectively bring people in so you're able to take advantage of what AI can do for you and bring in humans to help drive out a lot of the errors as well as some of the distrust. So we're actually finding very nice adoption further down in the chain where you've selectively brought in human in the loop. They're able to validate and then process that through. So you get a nice balance between efficiency and trust at the same time.
Rent-a-human.ai is coming, so can be a role for travel agents.
Yep, exactly.
But let's see how it is. You just turned to a native company, that's the announcement. What does it mean? I mean, we all know it's a lot of complexity behind. I mean, don't spread this session, but in a few words, what's a massive tip?
Yeah, well, I do want to. So I'll because Matisse actually took a moment to correct you on something. I'll make a small correction too. I think it's more of a representation of a journey. So we just I know I've got a joke with my good friend. So we've been on a massive transformation journey over the last handful of years too, in terms of modernization of our platform, moving into a more modular, cloud native type of platform. And with that, as AI has come to the forefront, we saw an opportunity. And so we started to rethink a lot of our capabilities and services, the data that we sit on, rethinking how APIs are created to make them AI friendly. And I think that that's really the key. At the foundation with data is also having APIs and interaction points that are very capable of helping service these tools. And then you can build the tools on top of them and the channels and the experiences.
As a final bet, agentic shopping, as we saw it in your demonstration, like Mindship and checkout with whatever, PayPal in your case, or we saw it yesterday, agentic shopping in retail is available in the US, it's coming over to Europe, and it's only a question of, and of course Google don't say it's the off. The off can be a few weeks, the off can be a month, but likely is less than a year. So what do you think, when will this be the relevant channel for travel bookings? What is your estimation, Brett?
So I think we're there in terms of the early phase of agentic. So discovery, and I think that was something Matisse was sharing as well. So discovery in the agentic, the true agentic space, matching you with relevant trip offers. I think that the gap, and I think this is going into as well into the comments, is how do you move into transactions? I honestly think we're months away. This is a rapidly emerging space, and I think where you can bring in that trust in the transactions, people are gravitating more and more to these channels. It's rapidly changing. We do believe we're months away from people actually transacting in those channels, and Mindtrip is going to be a place where we learn that.
Yeah, let's see. Months away. What's your opinion, Matisse?
Well, definitely it's starting, and you see it already. There will be still human in the loop. The validation, that is, I think, key. But we see it in retail already happening. I still believe when it comes to your summer vacation, where your investment is significant, you're probably a little bit more mindful. When it's on the next corporate travel, I think it's going to happen very soon. But again, it is not that the entire customer base is shifting at the same time. You always have the early adapters that are using it, that are more tech averse, and then there are others that might test it in 3-4 years, and that's totally fine. But I think we still need to be able to cater for both.
Yeah, unfortunately we're running out of time. So much to say, so much to do. We will continue in the latest next year.
And we'll do. See you next year.
Probably before. Yes, you're warmly welcome, definitely.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Matisse Bolt, Brett
Thank
Johnson.
you very much, Dirk.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
Thanks.